On the occasion of International Women's Day, it is an honor to welcome an extraordinary leader whose life reflects courage, intellect, and service to the nation, Dr. Madhuri Kanitkar, Madam, a distinguished pediatric nephrologist, a decorated army officer, and one of the few women to rise to the rank of Lieutenant General. She has broken barriers in spaces traditionally dominated by men, and her journey has dedicated medical professional to becoming the Vice Chancellor of the Maharashtra University of Health Sciences. Today, we have her telling her story to inspire us and interviewed by Dr. Meenu Agarwal, ma'am.
Thank you, Monica. And it's an honor for me to be speaking to Lieutenant General Dr. Madhuri Kanitkar. As you said, the theme for today is Women in Leadership, Services and Nation Building. Madam, my first question to you is that you have had an extraordinary journey and from being a doctor to rising to the rank of Lieutenant General in the Indian Army. What first inspired you to choose the career that combined medicine, service, and leadership?
At the outset, thank you very much for inviting me for this little webcast. And Dr. Meenu, my compliments and best wishes to you as the Vice President of FOGSI and all the members of FOGSI. It's really an honor to be with you today. Well, what got me on? I think uh, you always have your roots somewhere in a home upbringing, and my grandparents were both doctors, freedom fighters, and we grew up in that kind of a sort of nation first kind of a feeling. And my grandmother has been a real inspiration. And you know what is unusual? And I feel so proud to say that the person who really inspired us about grandmother was her daughter-in-law and my mother. I think that's a lesson to be learned कि बहू अपनी सास की इतनी मतलब she was used to be always so much telling us stories of grandmother who was so much older that we really got inspired. And then this thing about what drew me to the armed forces was the discipline. Somehow, the opportunity to join at AFMC, the smart turnout, the discipline. Inspiration was at home from the two women, my mother and my grandmother. The uniform was the attraction for national service, and leadership happened along the way. Honestly, I hadn't really thought I'm going to rise to a leadership position, but it's been an honor to be able to wear three hats in one go of a soldier, a doctor, and a teacher.
Thank you very much. That's actually really a story to learn, even in those days, to learn from the daughter in law and talk about it. It is really amazing that you come from such an excellent background, madam. Again, growing up, who were the people or moments that shaped your values and ambitions and guided you towards this path of service? I think you have more or less answered, but
Yeah,
if you
I think I gave that because my mother in that was a very, very important role. And I think on Women's Day, to all the women out there, I think we have a huge power to influence, inspire the next generation, retain our value systems. My mother was a very devout, pious lady who, even simple everyday living, she didn't tell us to fast or do puja part, but every day was a learning experience, and I try to emulate her today.
yes, so I think mother's influence is absolutely
Yes.
is a lot. Uh, you're among the very few women to reach such a senior rank in the armed forces. What were some challenges you faced as a woman in a traditionally male-dominated environment, and how did you overcome them?
Honestly, like in a lot of interviews, I say I was not in a male dominated environment. I was a predominantly male.
Yes,
But in the medical field, since we sort of trained together and all of us, just like anywhere outside, We remained pretty shoulder to shoulder, men and women. But yes, it was predominantly male because there's a restriction on number of women whom, because initially there was always that fear of how to deploy them in war zones, in forward areas. So even in AFMC, we used to always joke that it's a ratio of 5:1. Even what we joined were like for 100 boys at that time, 20 girls. And of the 20 girls, they were 19 would be given just a short service for 5 years. So, whereas the guys would continue as this. So, it is predominantly male. But in a professional field, I don't think there was much of a difference made because when you worked, especially as a pediatrician, you were in your technical area, your area of expertise, nephrology, that was my forte. But where the challenges started when one sort of grew up on two fronts. One is, you know, uh, a woman finally, still, especially because my husband and me, we both being in the army, hardly got posted together. So 24 years living alone, bringing up my own children. So the conflict was more which every woman faces is because essentially how, things are changing, but that support system which you need, you're always balancing your domestic requirements, your home and career. So those things, bringing up two children at home single-handedly, my challenges were more for that. And then later years, ailing parents, all of us go through that. So I don't think it was very gender specific, but because being a woman, it came much more on me of the home. And the second, this thing was in later years, because in senior positions, there were hardly any women. So you do have certain, like, even simple things like maybe in senior, this thing areas, you're in South Block, you're in this, you don't have senior officers, women's toilets or separate spaces. So those were little logistic things which are changing fast with more and more women joining in. So I think it was more, and to counter that, I think there were two people who are very, very. One is my husband. He really supported me, even if he was physically not present. He was always very, very supportive in every way. Second was my family, sometimes my mother-in-law coming and staying with me, sometimes my mother coming in. I mean, they would take intermittent for short periods. But more than that, armed forces is a beautiful family environment. So my colleagues also, every time I need really have those very difficult times, there would always be a few colleagues who would pitch in and help in. It becomes like an extended family, especially when you're in far-flung areas and you don't have any of your family members close to you. Your friends become your family. And that's, I think there was a huge support from that.
Yes, thank you, madam. Being I am also from AFMC, so I remember Jawans would come and they would call us sir because they're not
Yes,
used to calling us madam. So they would always say Jain sir, okay, Jain madam. So that is how it
yes,
was in
yes.
the army. So I
Very true.
absolutely can feel that.
Understand.
Yes. Uh, uh, from the battlefield to the hospital and now in academic leadership, you have seen many dimensions of responsibility. What does leadership mean to you, and what qualities make a great leader today? We all want to know because we all want to learn leadership
Yeah.
qualities from you, madam.
I think two things are very important. One is taking it as a huge responsibility with an ownership that this is my team, this is my family. That I thought was my biggest strength when I took people along and made those, big decisions, especially firstly in the army. There were two huge responsibilities one shouldered as a leader during COVID, what we call the operation Kojit of taking the tri-services response. And as the deputy chief of integrated defense staff with the late General Bipin Rawat, I was asked to lead the medical, tri-services response. So that was a huge thing. And the day you think, it's I who is doing it, things go wrong. There's all in the I, there's a thing. So leadership is about teamwork. It's about taking thinking of everyone as a strength. No one is perfect. seeing everyone's positive and bringing, aligning them and developing teams. I think that is the most important. And the second thing is giving credit for, people who are working with you on your team, giving them responsibilities, delegating to them effectively, taking feedbacks, remaining connected with them. So there are two things a leader has to do. One is getting work from a team on a professional level, but also connect with people on a human level. I think that is there. And to sum it up, what I call, when I gave a talk, one of those, ISB in Hyderabad, I call it, you rule with your head, but you lead with your heart. I think that a woman can do excellently because you can balance that head and heart. I think that is leadership.
Yes, I think on Women's Day, this message is so good, that lead with your head and rule, rule with your head and lead with
Head
your heart,
and
right?
lead with your heart.
Amazing, amazing, amazing.
And every woman can do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. As a pediatric nephrologist, your work has touched countless young lives. How has your experience as a clinician influenced the way you lead and make decisions? It's a follow
I
on.
think that's a very good question. Besides being a woman, I think a clinician and in two ways. One is the empathy and compassion we doctors bring to and that remains, that becomes part of us. So whenever you take decisions, you do it with compassion, with empathy when you're looking at the people, and that brings your heart to it. And the clinician's head comes in for quick decision making. As
Yes.
clinicians, and especially in nephrology, you can't wait for when there's an electrolyte imbalance or a dialysis or someone in critical conditions. You don't put it on a back burner. So for me, in even when I went into administration, I treated every file like a patient needing a critical decision. I think that was, in fact, I used to laugh because it was a huge change from, ward children. We are used to that. When I moved into the power corridors of power and there were just files, initially it was claustrophobic to sit in a room with dumps of files coming in. And then I thought to myself, after all, what is a file? That's also a case. Look at it like a patient. I would think of it that yes, what does the problem? That is the problem. So it's a POMR, problem oriented medical record. And I just have to understand it, look at it. I look at the past notes for past history. I bring in linked files for family history. If there's something that I've not understood, I send for some more investigations. And I have to give a differential diagnosis, but I have to give a treatment plan. So that was, administration for me. And I brought the clinical acumen into administration.
Oh, excellent, madam. I also feel that doctors make better administrators as compared to in corporate hospitals. Now we have those MBAs and everyone. But still,
Absolutely.
doctors put in more heart into it, and not
Yes.
just numbers or the financial
Yes.
things and the
Yes.
other things.
Because administration in a hospital has to have a clinical acumen and a compassion of a doctor. When it's pure administrators, they just look at it like, it's for them, it's a business model. It's the, returns, the ROI. I mean, the thought process is different. So
Right.
I think it is very important to have good clinicians take on administration.
Right, madam. Um, Women often balance multiple roles, professional, personal, and social. What has helped you maintain balance and resilience through such a demanding career?
I think in that I've always likened that women are lucky sometimes because and even in our goddesses, they always show with multiple arms. So I think that ability to multitask, our brains are wired that we can handle multiple things at the same time. But at the same time, that there is always a risk of burnout or doing it a bit too much. So one has to take care of oneself also. And while doing that, while you're doing multiple, taken help from everyone. So that is an important aspect. Don't think that you have to do everything and that you're the only one who can do it perfectly. So I think that is there. And the third thing was time management and prioritization. I mean, whenever I was at a crossroad, I would see, I would always try to, like, everything may look equally important. But if you actually close your eyes and ask, your soul knows what is most important at that. Your conscience knows that,
Yes.
like, for example, if your child is unwell and there is some important engagement, that engage and you can at the most apologize, excuse, but you would like to be with your sick child. But at the same time, if it's a very important event there and there was some these things, home events happening, which could be sort of rescheduled or things, you did that because this is equally. So correct prioritization and time management, a self discipline. I mean, I don't, whether it's getting up at 5:30 in the morning, getting the chores done, you're energetic. And the other thing I feel I sort of managed is I took a lot of care to ensure that I always had that little me time for my own fitness and exercise routine,
Wow.
because most of us women tend to ignore that in our busy schedule. And then you'll end up being, you don't have your endorphins, you don't have your, so you're fatigued, you're exhausted, you're tired. A lot of us don't take care, we are anemic or maybe developing some problems. So I think self-care is equally important while doing this, and taking time to do that and having some kind of a routine which makes sure that you're fit, so that when you're physically fit, you're mentally strong.
Yes. So it's absolutely an amazing message. Prioritization and keeping yourself fit to do things, and then to know which
Yes.
is more important to manage everything. And wearing multiple hats, of course, you have
Yeah.
been doing that.
Abs-
What would
Absolutely.
be your advice to young professionals, for young doctors and professionals listening today? So we have 50,000 gynecologists who will be listening to our podcast or this interview today. Along with it is going to be on the Facebook for other normal, non-medical people who are professionals. So what would be your advice to them? What these values or habits would you say are essential for building a meaningful and impactful career?
Since a lot of things have been said already in the initial part, at this point, I'd like to bring in, because um, a huge number of women, especially who are, into careers, into professions, are also married to people who have their own careers and professions. And I think it is so important to be a team in everything you do. You may have two parallel tracks, each one, doing their own thing. But I think it is so important to be able to actually grow together as a team, supporting each other. I think that is very important. And therefore, I'd like to bring in here something which my husband and me, we were both in uniform. We landed up, we didn't think that we would be the first and only three-star lieutenant general couple of the Indian Army. I mean, both of us rose to the highest, the ranks. Uh, eh, eh, I don't think even we had thought about it. But how did we reach is something I can share. I think we ensured that we supported each other. We were posted apart. Sometimes he would want to give up in frustration. That time I'd be his strength. So instead of being each other's weakness, we tried to be each other's strength. And supporting each other's roles in every way possible is very important. And therefore, and today I'm so happy to share that my husband has written, we have done a co-authoring of a book, and the book is called Growing Together Without Growing Apart.
Ah,
So it's
wonderful.
there on, it's available on Amazon. As the two three-star generals in uniform, we have this thing on it also. So this, in that we've shared that how difficult decisions can be, because I thought this is something I'd love to share with younger couples, because now everyone is working, everyone has careers, and very often we'll end up, either one person taking the brunt of it or the other person not, this thing, or all the time making it such a harden कि 50-50 सारा काम बांट के करना है. It's not like that. It's when you want to do a little more because you want to help the other person. So
Right.
so if each one thinks I'm going to do 60 or 70% to help put in towards the relationship, finally your relationship becomes better. And I think that is very, very important in
Yes,
life.
it is such a great message that work as a team with each other, not against each other. And if you have a good
Yes.
personal life, you have a good professional, you can build a good professional life.
Yes.
Absolutely correct, madam. Um, when young women hear your story from years from now, what is the one message you would like them to remember about courage, service, and possibility?
I think I would like to tell every woman, just be bold enough to get out of your comfort zone. Don't restrict yourselves. Women tend to give their own Lakshman Rekhas. Can I do it? Have self doubt. But if you have, just be confident in yourself, step out of your comfort zone and say, there's nothing that I cannot do. I can do. I think that is the message I'd like them to share with every woman out there, because she can do anything she wants to. And while doing that, let us remember that we have the huge responsibility, whether it's for the, you don't have to wear a uniform to do national service. You have to start small. You have to look after, like I got values from my mother, I would give them to my children. So nation building happens when the people are all, and every woman can influence so many more children, women. And if all women were, empowered and think like that, I think the nation is, and you see, even our Honorable Prime Minister, Nari Shakti is today being looked at every this, because the country realizes the value that women can bring to it. So let us women not restrict ourselves. Let us make sure we have a fit mind in a strong body, and we can do it all.
So, just to conclude, I will just quickly take just one liners from you. One word
Okay.
that defines leadership for you. One word.
Responsibility, ownership.
A woman who inspires you the most. I know that it must be your mother.
Yeah, it was. But there have been women. I mean, and they have been across. So I would like to name, my mother was to when I was a child. But in my professional thing, Madam Punita Arora, she was the first Lieutenant General and a gynecologist who I
Yes.
really look up to and who has been a mentor to me. So that she's someone I really admired. And today I have a friend, philosopher guide in Dr. Kiran Bedi. In fact, the book we wrote is because she told us that you must share your story. And she's written the foreword for that book, which I mentioned, Growing Together,
Okay.
Growing Up Without Growing Apart.
Okay. Punita Arora madam was my guide for my DNB. So yes.
Okay.
Uh, yes, yes. So a woman, okay. A life principle you always follow. This is the last line for you.
Okay. Life principle I always follow.
Mm.
Follow my heart. Follow my heart, follow my conscience, and believe in myself.
Great, madam. So after this rapid fire round, we are so thankful and happy, and you have given so many take home messages or take to work messages, both of them to each one of us. So thank you very much for joining, sitting in Seattle.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Thank you, Dr. Meenu. Thank
Thank
you so much. It's been a real pleasure. And I know you'll have to this thing out, but you're doing such a fine job with Foxy and reaching out to so many women in this, that even if the time difference and short notice, I said I have to be there. So thank
you.
you so much.
Warm welcome to everybody. Wishing everyone a very happy Women's Day. Today, we are sharing inspiring stories on this platform. Thank you, Dr. Bhaskar Pal and Dr. Suvarna Khadilkar, Madam, for a very important opportunity that you have given to us. We have an extraordinary change maker, Ms. Pallavi Ghosh, a human rights activist, the founder of Impact and Dialogue Foundation. Through her relentless work against human trafficking and modern slavery, she has helped rescue and rehabilitate more than 10,000 vulnerable women and children. Her mission is simple yet powerful to create awareness, restore dignity, and empower communities to break the cycle of exploitation. This work reminds us not only of courage and compassion that can truly transform the society. And to speak to her, we have Dr. Kiran Mai Madam today, our past chairperson of Violence Against Women Committee for the FOGSI. Over to you, ma'am, for an excellent podcast.
Thank you. Thank you, Monica. Monica is our chairperson for the Public Awareness Committee doing extensive work. And thank you for this wonderful thought and a wonderful program and the opportunity to interview someone like, Pallavi Ghosh, whom I admire and I'm inspired by her work. So it's a real wonderful opportunity for me also. So before we go ahead, one word about this year's Women's Day theme, which is Give to Gain. So I really didn't understand immediately, but when I saw what is Give to Gain, so the theme says that it is based on generosity and collaboration. And when we give with generosity and collaboration, it leads to more empowerment and more women, being benefited, and it is like a positive, completely positive aspect of it. So again, coming to Pallavi's work, when we look at it, it is give to gain only. She gives to gain, and she inspires, and her work carries forward, and including so many people like us, the doctors, police, and everybody, and it leads to more and more empowerment. And coming to the theme of FOGSI, it is Sarvai Saha Pragati. Again, the same thing of collaboration. And the theme says safety first, but rights always. So though as doctors we say safety first, it's the human rights always. And this is the theme of Dr. Bhaskar Pal, our President FOGSI. So without further ado, Pallavi, welcome you, and please and thank you for being with us today, despite your very hectic schedule in the Women's Month. Actually, the whole month, I know you are very, very busy. So the first question to you is, what really inspired you to take up this very difficult, very, very painful, I would say, work of human trafficking? You have dedicated almost your life. And what is if you want to say about one significant or most important challenge that you have faced as an anti-trafficking activist?
I think thank you so much, Kiran Mai. So Kiran Mai is very dear to me. So she would tell me to come to some event. I would definitely never say no, because she also does a lot of work around prevention of violence against women, prevention of violence against genders, to be specific. I cannot say there is one experience. So when I was 12, there was an experience when I was in Bengal for the first time. I come from Assam, and a girl went missing. So it's a long story. So if you just search Pallavi Ghosh, you can read that story, because we don't have that much of time to talk about it. But that was the first trigger point, you can say, that kind of, put a question on my mind around missing children. And then incidents after incidents happened organically. Finally, during my graduation, there was an incident that actually brought me across this whole thing of trafficking. Now, the problem with specifically working in trafficking is that, first of all, I'm a woman. So, so that is the biggest problem, because the entire anti-trafficking sector is ruled by men. Okay. And then a woman working in the sector is, wow, how come a woman? And people, those who are working in the sector, even women, those who are working in the sector, are much more senior to me, like in their 50s, 60s, 70s. So somehow, there is this discrimination always that I'm a woman, one. Second is that, you have to maintain a lot of guards. Like you have to maintain a lot of boundaries because all the time I am working with the other gender. Like rescue operations, I'm going with male policemen, police officers. Everywhere there are male. It's kind of male arena, you can say. So that is one of the biggest challenge. Second is to make people believe that okay, fine, you are a woman, you can do this job in a much better way. So I remember the first time I went for the rescue, the first question that a police officer asked me was like, "Are you Bengali?" So I was really surprised because I was like, "So how is that relevant?" Then I got to know that maximum girls who are found in sex trafficking are mostly from Bengal. So so then that question was like, "Are you Bengali?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm Bengali," but that doesn't matter. Then it took me years to make them convinced that why girls from Bengal are actually trafficked. So these things, that stereotype, okay, you are a woman, you are a young woman, like you are in your mid-30s. Now to still it's okay. I remember when I was working initially, it used to be so difficult, to convince somebody that you have come for a rescue operation and you are going to be there. They used to laugh and say that how will you be there for 2-3 days at a stretch? Because they were like, as a woman, you might have periods. As a woman, you might want to take rest. As a woman, you might want to sleep. So it took me so many years seeing me, okay, fine, I can stay in hospitals when the MLC is being done for hours. I can go to the child welfare committee waiting for the turn. I can wait when the 161 or when the 164 is recorded. So, and that you convince them through your actions, not by talking. Yeah. So
Yes.
you have to be there. So then they
And
realize,
yeah, being a woman, you had to work double and triple the efforts to
yeah,
convince and
absolutely.
yourself. It doesn't come with the, just being a woman. So it is not proven. It has to be proved again and again and again. It is not taken at face value.
Yeah.
So, can you share any particular very intimidating or very frightful or very, very rescue story? I would ask you, like, which you can never
There are
forget.
many.
I mean,
There
I
are
know that.
many. There are many, but two I would mention. One was this girl who was kept confined in the house of an IAS officer's sister in Delhi. And the information was given to us by a journalist. When we went to the house, like it initially we were not allowed in the house because the old lady was there. She was 90 plus, and it was a gross violation of human rights to enter the house without taking permission. The daughter came after 6-7 hours. When we entered the house, it's a long story, I'm just telling in brief. When we entered the house, we saw a girl sitting cross-legged. I was not able to guess the age, and later I got to know that she's a 16-year-old girl. I can't tell you the like the trauma or the like the
In place.
scar or the way she was battered. From head to toe she was battered. I can never forget that incident. From her hair to her feet, nail in the everywhere there is an injury. I would just want to say that we took out maggots from her head. Like that was the level of trauma she had. Her skull bone, 3-4 bones were broken. So that was one. And second was a child we rescued, was a 4-month-old child who was going to be trafficked to Middle East. So we kind of took counterfeit currency notes, like 8 lakhs dummy counterfeit currency notes. And finally we went with crime branch and we rescued the girl. And the sad part is that in the first case, the accused was scot-free. And in the first case, and in the second case, what happened was that, the child is 13, still the case is going on. I go for evidence till now.
My God. It takes
So
years and years and
yeah,
years
yeah,
of.
yeah. So both the cases, and this is just two cases. There are hundred, there are thousands of people I've rescued. Only convictions happen in 7 cases. So you can imagine the trauma. So this is the level of situation in our country, and there is no punishment. There is no punishment for the accused, for the perpetrator, for the predator, you can say. So imagine the child is 13 now. Still, there is no justice. So that's how the situation is. So these two cases are one of the few cases. There are like at least 15 to 20 cases
I
like
know,
this.
yes, yes. I think Pallavi has rescued more than 10,000 children, women, in her, these years of work. And now you do predominantly rehabilitation work also, Pallavi. Can you share why you have, you're focusing more on rehabilitation and rebuilding and kind of the survivor-centric approach? Can you share in brief? Because I think we have 3 or 4
We have
minutes
less.
left.
I think the main important thing is that when I rescued people, I realized that nothing happened. They went back to the place from where they came because
Mm.
in the first place, why do they get trafficked? They get trafficked because there are
Of
multiple
poverty.
causes, poverty,
Yes.
unemployment. So when you talk about rehabilitation means you have to give them access to financial independence. If somebody is able to earn money, if somebody is able to empower themselves, stand on their own feet, they will not get lured. Why do they get lured? So that their wishes are fulfilled for love and all. So that's the reason rehabilitation is very important. And when you talk about rehabilitation, you just don't talk about rehabilitation of the girl. You talk about rehabilitation with the community. Like, do you counsel the community? Do you tell the community that it's not our fault that she was trafficked? So I think these are some of the learnings in my like 13, 14 years of journey. And that's the reason we lay a lot of emphasis on empowering and rehabilitation because that kinds of prevent trafficking and
Yes.
also helps in not getting them re-trafficked.
Yes. Yeah, wonderful. So again, one message for one is women and girls who may be vulnerable to trafficking, and other message for bystanders like us, you know, who are there
I
everywhere, but who will not be able to prevent because we don't know enough, or we are not aware, or we don't know how to prevent. So these two, I mean, to how to avoid and how to help, the
I
communities, the
think one
individuals.
thing is that talk about it. Nobody talks about trafficking.
Talks about it.
Nobody talks
Yes.
about trafficking.
It's a
I think that's
taboo
very
topic,
important.
or it's
Yeah,
something very unpleasant. It is something to be
yeah.
avoided. When violence against women was like that, but now I think we very, very, very freely and very commonly say this word and utter this word and discuss in forums and bring it to mainstream. So yes,
I think
yes,
the main
Pallavi.
thing is that nobody talks about it, one. So talk around it everywhere.
Talk.
Forget
Yes,
you don't have to do anything. Just talk about it. I believe in this concept of ripple effect. If you talk to one, one talks to five, five talks
yes,
to 50. So that's one. Second is that be very careful what you are talking with whom in technology. Like
hmm,
nowadays, trafficking and violence has increased so much because we are talking to strangers
technology.
over the phone. We are exchanging our
Yes,
videos.
yes,
We are exchanging our photographs. Why do you
very
have to
true.
do all that? And that is also because the lack of love and affection in the family. There is
Yes,
so much, everybody is into the phone. We don't spend time with families. We
that
don't talk to our partners.
connection is not there. The connection is not
Yeah.
there with yes.
Yeah, so that is one thing. And bystanders, I feel, educate yourself. Like, for example, I see parents putting a lot of pictures of their children going to school. You never know who is roaming around, who can pick up your child. You never know. And then parents making their children see all these videos, all these videos and all those cartoons have soft porn, which keeps on coming and going. So, they can just click a picture of your child and then put your child's picture in the pornographic channel. You saw Epstein files. You saw
Yes,
the
yes,
trafficking of
yes,
children.
yes,
So
yes,
I think you need to be extra careful. Just giving your child access to phone because she's crying or she's not eating food is nonsense, I feel. I feel parents needs to be more accountable and responsible. Parents are earning money but not giving time to children. So I think that's very important. And corporate people, please talk about trafficking. It's not just the responsibility of doctors, NGOs, government. It's also the responsibility of all these technological hubs like Facebook and all of this. Are we taking accountability? Are we
mm,
focusing on, what people are sharing, to what extent? So, and there is one thing that people don't understand. Anything which is out in the internet is out. You have no control. So I
yes.
think
You have no
that,
control.
yeah. So I think that way we can prevent trafficking to a huge extent.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pallavi, for sharing about your work and, very importantly about the need to talk about it. And I know how you travel across the country and also outside the country, and you give hundreds of talks and discussions in universities, IITs, medical colleges, everywhere. And you are not tired of talking about, telling people what it is and what can be done, and also the very positive and very constructive kind of personality that you are. And I think so many more years of work ahead, and also please take care of yourself. I know it is not difficult emotionally, mentally also. Please do take care of yourself, and please continue the good work, and I wish you a very happy Women's Day and
Thank you
best
so
wish.
much. Wish you a happy Women's Day to both Monica and Kiran Mai also.
Thank you, Pallavi. Thank you,
Thank you,
Monica.
ma'am. As we close today's conversation, we leave with a powerful reminder that real change happens only when awareness turns into action. And may your journey inspire us to stand up, speak out, and contribute to building a safer and a more human world. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
On the occasion of International Women's Day, we celebrate women who define courage, leadership, and service. Our one such guest today is an inspiring personality, Squadron Leader Sangeeta Gupta Nair, a proud officer of the Indian Air Force whose journey reflects discipline, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to the nation. Through the dedicated service in one of the most demanding professions, she has not only won the uniform with pride, but also broken barriers and inspired countless young women to dream beyond their limits. Her story reminds us where the determination meets purpose, the sky is not the limit. It is just the beginning. Over to you, Basab sir, for an inspiring story to be heard.
Thank you, Monica. As Dr. Monica said, we have with us Sangeeta Gupta Nair. She started her career after doing a master's degree in pharmaceutical sciences in Kolkata Jadavpur University. Then she entered the Air Force. In 1993, she was commissioned. She had served for nearly 11 years, and then the wars in between. And then she's back now again in a pharmaceutical role in a leadership position on a global stage. So it's over to you, Sangeeta. We would love to hear your story and love to be inspired by it. If you can share your journey with us, we would love to hear it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for providing this opportunity and forum. So, as you introduced me, I am from the first batch of women officers, and I think now pretty much a museum piece. We were 12 of us selected, and that was way back in 92 when the selection happened and we got into training. So I come from a military background. Basically, my dad was in the army, and I grew up all over India. Had been to places like Mizoram, etc. And I was very fascinated with the uniform. I would often wear his peak cap and the staff and stand in front of the mirror, and it was very, very inspiring what the defense people used to do. In fact, even my granddad, my dad's dad, he was a captain in the British Army. So it's a bit of a legacy. And since we were two girls, we didn't have the ability to basically take that on. So we were pretty much reconciled to the fact. And I kind of started studying in the sciences. I did my master's in pharma. And that was the time when India was opening the armed forces for women for the first time. And obviously, it's a very natural course where my dad was also very excited. And he said, okay, like, let's apply. And I applied. It was I didn't think I had much of a chance at that point in time because we knew there were just a dozen, 12 of us, and there was a sea of applications. But it was like, hey, give it a try. And so I did. And I was also at that point in time doing my master's in Jadavpur University. So, and I had plans to do my MS PhD in the US. As luck would have it, I got my I-20 on one hand, and I got my selection letter into the defense, into the Air Force on the other. And I was deliberating which one I should go for. And I think somewhere the defense pull was stronger. And I decided then to join the Air Force. So that was my journey as far as entering the Air Force is concerned. And there was a lot of media and a lot of publicity at that point in time, join the Air Force, make India proud, and all of it. It was, I think, very, very patriotic at that point in time. And I just got in then.
So, how was the training? How was your initial years in the army? Like how rosy the picture which you painted before that, standing in front of the mirror with the uniform, how would that look in real life and real person?
Well, still standing in front of the uniform was super cool, without a doubt, but it did come, at least personally for me, because I was someone who didn't even run 100 meters in my life. So I was kind of thrown in, and, we were made to jog and run, and feet were full of blisters. And, we were 12 of us. And we did not want to show any sign of weakness because remember, we were entering a male bastion and we had to prove we were as good as the men. We knew intellectually we were. Physically, there is a difference in biology, which cannot be undermined. but we would still get on, and that, I think, for me was like very difficult phase in training, where I would be bruised, and I wouldn't do a sick report because it was a matter of pride. But yeah, I think it made me what I am, so allowed me to get much stronger and be the person that I am today.
Wonderful. What about the wars and the war came in Kargil, and what about your family? When did you when what was the family career? How did that move along with this?
So, when you are single lady officer from the first batch and you are in a place where there are 40 bachelors, so it's a very, very natural outcome. And that's what happened. I met my husband. Of course, we were classmates, but then I met him at the first station where I was posted. And then we decided to get married. It was rather early. And then I had my son. And we were then posted to Leh. My husband went first, and I actually requested to go there. Little did I know that it would lead into Kargil Ops. So I went there with my son, which was a non-family station, and the Kargil Ops broke out. And at that point in time, Leh was, though not the front line in terms of eye to eye combat, it was a very important base, which was providing all the, air support, and, all the flying used to happen from, or not all, but one of the very important flying stations that was supporting the Kargil ops. So I was there with my little boy, who was, I think, about close to 3 years old, and my husband, and a lot of bachelors. So it was a non family station. But it was very exciting because what would happen is, if both of us were on duty, my son would be passed on to the bachelor who was not on duty, on babysitting duties. And it was, now when I think of it, it's like, how did I do it? But yes, I did. So it was one of the very interesting, difficult phase. Of course, people back home, my parents, my in-laws, they were very nervous, and they thought it was absurd that we were taking Rajats there. But for me, it just felt very natural. And luckily, I had the support of my husband as well. So yeah, we were there together.
Wonderful hearing that. Sangeeta, then how long did the army phase last? And then when did you move out from the army and back to your pharma career? If you could share us with that.
So I was in the Air Force for 11 years, and I was a squadron leader. And what was happening is, because we were the first batch, we were the guinea pigs, we were kind of given extensions, after our initial terms. And there was a promise of permanent commission, but we were given extensions. And when I reached the 11-year mark, I started getting a little nervous because I didn't want a situation where, after 15 years, they say, they didn't want to absorb us. And thank you very much. So I was a little, at that point in time, a little nervous. And I had a conversation with the family that, I would leave. It was also the ability to provide a kind of solid and sound fine foundation to my son's education, because we used to be posted to, typically like a Leh or a Nalia, Bhuj, where the schools are not the best. So then we took this decision that I would step out and be based out of Bangalore. And that's what I did. I took like a premature release when
Mhm.
I was a squad leader after 11 years of service and 1 year of training. So, yeah.
And how did you reach Switzerland? That would be the next question.
Yeah, that was a little, it was a bit of a tough one, to be honest. So when I joined the pharma, um, so I got into the corporate world without any, I studied, I went straight into the Air Force, and I was there 11 years. So my degree was pretty much redundant. I mean, it sounded good, but I was way out of time and league, and my counterparts were ahead in the game. So I kind of joined as a technical associate to the CEO of one of the pharmaceutical companies in Bangalore, and we were making an entry into US and Europe markets. So I was working out of his office, and I think that's where all the skill sets that the defense got me. I kind of rose pretty quickly. And after a certain point in time, I was leading business development over there. But at that point in time, we had a huge family trauma. I lost my husband when he was in the Air Force, and at that point, my son was just in his 12th grade, and I kind of got him out to study, and I decided to that I didn't want to be in India. So my company was rather, it was a very sound company. I had moved company by then. So they told me that my son had gone to Dublin. So they had told me that Dublin was not an option, but Switzerland was. So I decided to move to Switzerland, which is much closer than India to Dublin. And that's where I reached. I had to drop 2 levels in my career, which I did. And I kind of went through the grind here, established myself, and then moved on to another company where now I'm heading the global business development for them. And that's where I am.
Wonderful hearing you, Sangeeta. What would message you'd like to leave to the doctors who are hearing you, all the young girls who'd like to grow up like you, who'd like to join the army or to make an independent living? What message you'd like to leave for all of them on International Women's Day?
I think it's not so much woman or man. For me, it is a person, and there are no limits, there are no boundaries. You just need to believe in yourself and not get overwhelmed by, the big picture. Take one step at a time, earnestly with resilience, and you get your dreams. Really. So that's what I would like to tell them, and just be brave. Just be brave. There's space for everyone in the world, one step at a time, and you get there.
Thank you. Lovely talking to you, Sangeeta. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much for being here. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. As we conclude, you leave us with a powerful reminder that courage is not absence of fear, but it is the determination to rise above it. And your journey teaches every woman to step forward with confidence, not to build just careers, but to shape their futures. Wishing you also a very happy International Women's Day. Take care, ma'am. Bhuvneshwari, wishing a very happy International Women's Day at the outset today. On this special occasion, we are honored to feature you as an accomplished international karate athlete and a proud member of the Indian national karate team. You have represented India at several prestigious global tournaments, including the World Karate Championship, the Asian Championships, and the Commonwealth Karate Championships, bringing home multiple medals for the country, as well as being academically strong. You have been ranked among the top female karate athletes internationally, and your journey reflects extraordinary discipline, resilience, and passion for the sport. So, we want you to inspire countless girls to believe in their strengths. So, let's please begin with our interview for today. So, our first question to you was what actually inspired you to take a step into the world of karate, which was actually a sport which is traditionally meant and dominated by men?
To start with, my family is a karate family, and my mother is a karateka. So she is my first guru. Growing up, I have seen her teaching, doing karate. So naturally, I came to this field. Although it was not in my bucket list to be an professional karate athlete, but over the time, maybe the circle has completed. Being my mother is a professional karate athlete, and for years I literally run from karate because I wanted to be an IPS officer. So I was focusing on my studies from school days, but now ended up in karate again.
So we also wanted to know about your journey and the struggles that you have faced being the first female athlete to represent India in karate.
We can change this statement little bit. Women from India used to represent internationally in karate, but they were not strong internationally to be standing on the podium back then because there was no proper system to get coached. There is no proper system of scientific training, no physiotherapist, no backbone, no support. Even families used to send girls to dance forms, to art forms more than this, because as you can see me right now. I got punched just yesterday in my training sessions. So there was a stereotype that in combat sports, female will lose their beauty, they will get fractures, they will maybe get injured and all, and that's why they never supported, family never supported them to choose it. But with God's bless, my family always supported me. So when I came to this sport, uh, I never had family problems. They always supported. And also, during my training sessions, my coach never told me that you are a girl, you cannot fight with boys, because entire dojo, I was the only, dojo is a karate center, so in entire dojo I was the only girl. I was fighting with boys. Then that's how I became strong internationally, maybe.
That's true. So every champion has a story behind the medals. So would you say a focus on the biggest challenge that you have faced as a woman athlete in our country in combat sports?
Biggest challenge was always injuries, because it's a combat sports for sure. So I always had injuries, but biggest injury I faced is 2 years back. I had my ACL and meniscus reconstruction. 3 to 4 months I was on the bed. I was crying every day. Don't know even if I can walk again or not. I can come back to my sports as strong I was before. I didn't know anything. But then everyone supported me. I supported myself. I stood back. My family stood behind me. My coach helped me, and in this journey, yoga has supported me a lot. Pranayam, meditation, what we call, it supported me a lot, because when you get injured and you don't know that tomorrow you can walk back or not, and still you antaratma आपका बोलता है ना, you have to get back and you have to come back again. that that was the biggest challenge I faced in my career of karate.
So you want to give a message saying that yoga or meditation or being spiritual at times definitely helps you in keeping your mental power steady.
Yes, yes. See, yoga means not just exercise. We all know that. As Indians, we must know that yoga is not just asanas. Yoga is pranayam, yoga is ahimsa, satya, asteya, everything. So when you do that, when you follow that, your life has a meaning. The meaning outsiders cannot give you. You should give it to yourself. That why you are getting up today is not just for your livelihood, right? Not just to earn money. You are getting up for something, for some reason. Yoga gives you that reason. Second thing is being spiritual. Why spiritual? Because you will be facing लाइफ में एक बार तो ऐसे होता है कि तुम्हारे तुमको ना आजू बाजू कोई नहीं होता. इवन योर मदर लीव्स यू, योर ब्रदर लीव्स यू, your father leaves you, your husband leaves you, and you will be standing alone in dark room. And that time you need someone to hold on to, and then spirituality comes in. So I faced that challenge. I faced ki there is no one standing there, but then there is my God, there is my guru that I spoke to, got closer to, and they helped me come back from the dark room. You know.
Yes, so very true. So you have a lot of achievements in the Asian and the Commonwealth Championships. So can you tell us which medal is or the moment which is closest to your heart?
It will be definitely Asian medal, because my Asian medal was first in the history, not just male female, first in the history. No one won any Asian medal in karate sport of 40 years of karate journey. So this medal is really really close to me. It is first medal, and also with this medal, India has opened the doors to Asian Games in this sport. And after winning this medal, I got into the tag. Tag is a Target Asian Games group of Sports Authority of India. So I am the first athlete from karate sport to being a part of Sports Authority of India scheme. And from last year, TAG is sponsoring me for everything, for tournaments, for training, for physio, diet, everything. So definitely this Asian Games, coming Asian Games scheme, which included me, is my closest one.
Sure. Can you tell us what is the importance of discipline and mindset in a particular sport?
हर रोज उठ के ट्रेनिंग जाना किसी को पसंद नहीं होता, and that's when discipline comes in. You know you hate it, you know you're on periods, you know you're very upset, you know you have not slept well, you know you don't want to go to training, but still you go to training. That's discipline. So definitely discipline is very important in athletes career, not just in athletes career, anyone in your life. If you're studying, it's important to you. If you're a student, if you are just a businesswoman, if you're a doctor, I'm sure that even doctors don't want to go to job every day, right? But still we go, it's just discipline.
Just discipline. So, rightly said, ma'am. As a woman who is representing India internationally, what responsibility do you feel when you step onto the mat wearing an Indian flag?
I cannot express this feeling. I don't know any word to express this feeling. It's responsibility, it's proud moment, it just dream. I don't know the exact word. I could not express this.
Feeling, but with a lot of sense of responsibility.
Yes, lot of
Yeah.
responsibility. I know I'm representing 104 100 whatever crore people there. So
Yeah.
it's a responsibility. Yeah.
What is your message to the young girls who enter or hesitate to enter into sports due to fear due to lack of support or stereotypes? So what would be your one message that you want to give these girls today?
If you ask me about karate, I must tell you that first cadet medal in karate nation level, woman won. First junior medal in Asian, woman won. First senior medal in Asian, woman won. Most medal from India, woman won. I don't understand the stereotype people are
Right.
telling to the women's, really. Because if you take the tally of any international sport, any international medal from India, it's women's. It's female who is giving medals. Even currently, India has around 4 to 5 Asian medals in karate. All are which are from women.
So, how important do you feel that sports and self-defense are for women today?
Self-defense is important for women.
Should
See, self-defense.
every girl or a teenager get trained in karate or any type of martial arts or kalaripatu, which you are also a expert in? Should they get formal training, or do you?
Self-defense is very important, and self-defense is not always about physical things. Self-defense is about mental thing also. So women now coming out and pursuing their careers, they are going to the offices, they are going to the IT sector, they are going to the doctors, they are being a sports person. We need to self defense ourselves from many things. Physically, if you talk, then yes, it's definitely important to learn karate or any combat sport or kalaripayattu, any combat sports, okay? But mentally also, if you want to defend yourself, you should be physically strong. And for that also, combat sports helps you. So I will definitely tell everyone, at least weekly once, go to the gym, join any boxing club, join any karate club nearby, or if you are a businesswoman, conduct some camps, conduct some self-defense workshops, and talk about self-defense. Not just about, see, self-defense is not just someone is going to harass you and you're going to beat them. Self-defense is stopping them to do it from the beginning. You
Right.
must know your boundaries, right? So it is about self-defense again.
Definitely. If you're mentally strong enough, then you cannot mess around with me. Right. What is one message that you can give to the parents about encouraging their daughters in taking up sports?
I'll say it again. Every international medal is won by women from India. Even in tag right now, target to Asian Games group, as compared to male, females are there. So if you're thinking that females are not for sports, you're wrong. This age is for female, and in next 10 years, females are going to dominate it. Even
Right.
IOA chief is PT Usha. Okay.
Definitely.
So
So
every
what is
federation is now having female lead,
female
female coaches,
lead?
female physios, female doctors, female psychologists, everything. It's a female dominant society right now.
So what is one word that you would define women's strength as?
It's consistency.
One, consistency. And one quality that you think that every champion should have?
Discipline.
Sure. What is your dream for India in the next 10 years?
Winning every international medal.
Medal.
India is going to win every international medal soon.
Sure. Thank you so much for joining, ma'am. Today, I think we've completed our 10 minutes. And we've not just heard the story of a champion, but the spirit of a woman who proves that courage, discipline, and determination can break many barriers. Let us remember that every girl has the strength of a warrior within her. Thank you so much for joining us today. A very happy International Women's Day to all of us who have joined this platform today. Thank you, Bhaskar sir and Suvarna madam, for giving us an opportunity to share inspiring stories on this platform on this day. The theme for today is Give to Gain. So we have a very brilliant sports person on this day to inspire her and to transform the challenges that she has into strength. And we meet Miss Ganga Kadam, a gold medalist in international blind women's cricket, the captain of the Maharashtra team, and the vice captain of the Indian winning T20 team. And her journey reminds that vision is not just about sight, it is about courage and determination, where she has made her goals into darkness. We welcome you, Ganga ma'am, and this would be conducted by Dr. Vidya ma'am, our Vice President of FOGSI. Over to you, Vidya ma'am, for the interview.
So, I just want to wish the happy International Women's Day to all. And we are very happy to welcome Dr. Ganga Kadam, who is a woman achiever in her own way. And she has got an inspiring story to everyone. So, I welcome Dr. Ganga Kadam, madam. Madam, welcome to this podcast. And I thank Dr. Bhaskar Pal, our president, and Dr. Suvarna Khadilkar, our secretary general, as well as I congratulate Dr. Monica Umbardan, our chairperson for Public Awareness Committee, for arranging all this podcast on International Women's Day. So welcome, Dr. Ganga Madam. Namaskar. At the beginning, tell us about your early life. And when did you first discover your love for cricket? क्रिकेट में ही करियर करना कैसे सोचा, इसके बारे में जरा बताइए।
मैम फर्स्ट तो मैं ऐसे ही मतलब स्कूल में खेलती थी लड़कों के साथ। उस टाइम मैंने ऐसे सोचा नहीं था कि मैं इंटरनेशनल खेलूंगी या नेशनल खेलूंगी। मतलब कब सैटरडे संडे खेलते थे, लेकिन जो मेरे कोच है शल के सर, वो मतलब हर सैटरडे संडे लड़कों को सिखाने आते थे। लेकिन जब फर्स्ट टाइम वुमेन्स का भी मैचेस हुआ था 2017 में नासिक में, तो वहां पे मुझे लेके गए थे। तो वहां पे मेरा परफॉर्मेंस थोड़ा अच्छा था, तो सर ने बोला कि तुम कर सकते हो, तुम करो। तो मैंने उस टाइम से स्टार्ट किया था खेलना।
तो आपको क्रिकेट में ही करियर करना तभी आपने सोच लिया था?
नहीं, क्रिकेट में करियर करना है मैंने अभी 2023 में सोचा था। मतलब वो जिस हमारा नेशनल हो रहा था, उसी टाइम सर ने बोला कि आपका इंटरनेशनल भी होगा, वर्ल्ड कप भी होगा, विप्सा वर्ल्ड गेम भी होगा। तो उसी टाइम मैंने सर से बात करके मैंने बोला कि मुझे भी शलके सर को बोला था, उनको मैं दादा बोलती हूँ, दादा मुझे भी इंटरनेशनल खेलना है ऐसे। तो सर ने ठीक है हम प्रैक्टिस देंगे सिखाएंगे ऐसे बोला था।
अच्छा. So overcoming challenges as a visually impaired athlete, what were the biggest challenges you faced while entering the world of sports? तो आप जब ये स्पोर्ट्स के ये इलाके में आप करियर करना चाहती थी, तो एज ए विजुअली इम्पेयर्ड आपको क्या चैलेंजेस फेस करना चाहिए?
ग्राउंड फैसिलिटीज, क्योंकि
ओके.
नॉर्मल ग्राउंड में तो हम लोग खेल नहीं सकते, क्योंकि वहां पे वो लोग खेलते हैं, उनका बॉल अलग रहता है हमारा अलग रहता है, या साथ में खेलने वाला कोई नहीं रहता। और हम लोग को ग्राउंड प्लेन मतलब थोड़ा अलग चाहिए रहता है, प्लेन चाहिए रहता है। तो बहुत सारे चैलेंजेस रहते हैं।
अच्छा, तो आप यहाँ जहाँ रहती हो वहाँ सब ये फैसिलिटीज अवेलेबल थी?
जब मैं पहले खेलती थी दमनी ब्लाइंड स्कूल में पढ़ती थी, तो वहाँ पे फर्स्ट खेलती थी, वहाँ पे थोड़ा नॉर्मल ग्राउंड था, स्कूल के पास था। तो उस टाइम नहीं थी, लेकिन जब मैंने इंटरनेशनल खेलना शुरू किया तो दमनी ब्लाइंड स्कूल है वहाँ पे, मैंने सर से रिक्वेस्ट की कि मुझे ग्राउंड चाहिए। तो अभी जामश्री है सोलापुर में इलेजियम क्लब करके, तो वहाँ पे एकेडमी स्टार्ट हुई, तो वहाँ पे मुझे ये सब फैसिलिटी दिया है।
अच्छा, तो आपके साथ खेलने वाले भी आपको काफी सारा कोऑपरेट करते होंगे, और उसमें आपका टर्निंग पॉइंट कौन सा था? What particular time you had that turning point that you felt that I can represent my country and inspire others? ये टर्निंग पॉइंट कब था?
जब पहले पहले भी मैं प्रैक्टिस करती थी, लेकिन अभी मई महीना में मेरे पापा का देहांत हो गया। तो
ओ,
उस टाइम मैंने सोचा कि नहीं, मैं अभी अच्छे से प्रैक्टिस करूंगी, मैं सब कुछ करूंगी जो पहले नहीं कर पाते थे।
और कुछ आप कहना चाहती हैं आपके टर्निंग पॉइंट में? I mean, जैसे कि किसी ने आपको इंस्पायर किया होगा, किसी की आपको कुछ मीन्स अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिली होंगी, दैट वाज योर टर्निंग पॉइंट?
नहीं, उसी टाइम मतलब मेरे पापा का सपना था कि मैं कुछ तो अच्छा करूंगी या जॉब करूंगी। तो
हम्म.
मतलब पहले ने इतना नहीं सोचती थी कि, लेकिन जब पापा जाने के बाद ये सब चीज याद आती थी, मतलब याद
अच्छा.
रहता है। फिर मैंने सर से बोला तो सर ने भी मुझे अच्छे से गाइड करके तुम
So your father was a main inspirer for you, है ना? आप वो कुछ करना चाहती थी कि वो कहे कि हाँ मेरी लड़की ने ये अचीव किया है, दैट वाज योर टर्निंग पॉइंट. यस. इन इंटरनेशनल अचीवमेंट एट अंतरराष्ट्रीय इसमें आपने यू वर द पार्ट ऑफ द टीम दैट वन द गोल्ड मेडल, राइट? सो
यस,
ये गोल्ड मेडल आपने जीता इन इंटरनेशनल ब्लाइंड वुमेन्स क्रिकेट टूर्नामेंट. सो दैट मोमेंट व्हाट वाज, हाउ आपको पर्सनल लेवल पे वो मोमेंट कैसा आपको लगा? व्हाट डिड दैट मोमेंट मीन टू यू पर्सनली?
हम लोग अभी वर्ल्ड कप स्टार्ट हुआ था, तो हम लोग फर्स्ट मैच हमारा श्रीलंका के साथ था। तो उस टाइम हम लोग मैच खेल रहे थे, क्योंकि फर्स्ट मैच था, हम लोग को ज्यादा श्रीलंका के बारे में या इतना पता नहीं था, क्योंकि वो भी न्यू टीम थी। लेकिन हमने सोचा था कि हम अच्छे से खेलेंगे। उस मैच में हम खेल रहे थे, तो उसी मैच में मुझे प्लेयर ऑफ द मैच मिला। तो मतलब मुझे थोड़ा खुद के ऊपर भरोसा हुआ कि मैं अच्छा कर सकती हूँ मेरी टीम के लिए।
तो आप लीडर भी हो, तो लीडरशिप में यू हैव बीन लीडिंग द महाराष्ट्र ब्लाइंड वुमेन्स क्रिकेट टीम ना अभी. तो व्हाट
और
डज द लीडरशिप मीन टू यू एज यंग वुमन एथलीट? सो आप लीडर हो, तो आपके लीडरशिप क्वालिटीज में आप दूसरों को क्या मीन्स यू एज ए टीम लीडर, व्हाट यू एम टू डू फॉर योर ऑल योर क्रिकेट टीम पार्टिसिपेंट्स, या क्या आप उनको साथ लेके उनको उनके क्वालिटीज कैसे आप बाहर मीन्स लेट देम अचीव, ऐसा आपको लगता है?
पूरा टीम को एक साथ लेके चलना। जब उनका कभी ऑफ डे रहता है, कब अच्छा मतलब कभी अच्छा खेल सकते हैं, कभी अच्छा नहीं हो सकता है, फिर भी उनको अच्छे से सपोर्ट करना, और उनको जितने मोटिवेट करना, और देश के लिए कुछ तो करने के लिए उनको अच्छे से गाइड करना।
या, सो मोटिवेशन इज अ मेन थिंग. सो आपके टीम में 12 लोग रहते हैं ना, एक एक्स्ट्रा रहता है?
11।
11. सो 11 लोग तो काफी हर एक अलग अलग रीजन के रहते हैं, है ना?
यस।
सो आपका जो टीच मीन्स कैसे रहता है आपका टूर्नामेंट का, क्या क्या रहता है, टाइम टेबल क्या रहता है, और आप उनको कैसे सिखाती हो?
हम लोग पहले तो अपने अपने स्टेट में प्रैक्टिस करते हैं मैचेस या सिलेक्शन कैंप पे। पहले जब हमारा मैच रहता है उसी टाइम हमारा 1 महीना पहले साथ में काम चलता है, उस कोचिंग कैंप चलता है। तो उसी टाइम में हम लोग एक साथ मिलके प्रैक्टिस करते हैं पूरा
अच्छा,
मॉर्निंग। हाँ,
तो आपका कोच भी
प्रिपरेशन
रहता है
रहता है।
आपके साथ, है
हाँ,
ना?
कोच मैनेजर सब टीम रहते हैं साथ।
So, what is your strength and motivation? So, on difficult days, what keeps you motivated to continue training and performing?
मेरा फैमिली,
Tumhara family. So, your family is a motivation and the strength also. I think your father is a main strength for you.
फादर, सिस्टर।
So, what message you would like to give to the young girls? हमारे देश के जो वुमन है, उनको आप क्या मैसेज देना चाहती हो, क्या संदेश देना चाहती हो?
वो मतलब कैसे रहता है कि उनको क्या करना है, वो उनको खुद को सोचना चाहिए और उसके ऊपर उनको फोकस करना चाहिए। क्योंकि मतलब कोई बोलता है आपको ये नहीं हो सकता, आप ये मत करो, आप लड़की हो ये नहीं कर सकती, ये सारी चीजें छोड़ के उनको जो करना चाहिए वो उनके ऊपर फोकस करते तो अच्छा कर पाते हैं।
Yes, so stop
अभी तो
not till the goal is reached.
अभी
Arise
तो
and
बहुत सारे
awake.
चीजें
Yes.
सोशल मीडिया पे या कहीं पे वो लोग मतलब खुद का जो गोल है उसको छोड़ के सोशल मीडिया पे या कहीं पे ऐसे टाइम वेस्ट करते। वो सब चीज को नजरअंदाज करके देश के लिए
Yeah.
कुछ तो करना है या फैमिली के लिए कुछ तो करना है, ये सब सोच के
So
आगे
focus on
बढ़ना
their
चाहिए।
goals and follow that goal to achieve it. What is the role of society? How can families, school, communities better support women with disabilities in sport and education? See, in spite of disability, you could achieve this much. So, ये सोसाइटी कैसी हेल्प कर सकती है?
सोसाइटी तो पहले जब हम कुछ नहीं बन पाते मतलब पहले ट्राई करते तो बहुत कुछ बोलते कि लड़कियां ये करते क्या वो करते क्या, लेकिन जब आप सक्सेस होते हैं तो पूरा सोसाइटी आपके बारे में अच्छा बात करेगी, आपको सपोर्ट करेगी। अभी मैं उनको मतलब जो अभी नए बच्चे आएंगे तो उनको सिखाऊंगी, उनको ज्यादा से ज्यादा क्रिकेट के बारे में या बाकी स्पोर्ट्स के बारे में बताऊंगी या उनको मोटिवेट करूंगी। अभी तो सारे गवर्नमेंट से या सबको सपोर्ट मिल रहा है तो उसके बारे में उनको बताऊंगी और वो
हाँ।
कैसे आगे आ सकते हैं इसके बारे में सोचूंगी।
सो उनको ये बताना चाहेगी आप ना, काफी सारे स्कॉलरशिप्स रहते हैं या अपॉर्चुनिटीज रहते हैं, एप्लीकेशंस रहते हैं, उसके बारे में
हाँ,
काफी
बहुत
लोगों
सारे
को
हैं,
पता
एजुकेशन
नहीं
के लिए
रहता है।
स्कॉलरशिप मिलते हैं या स्पोर्ट्स के लिए, या बहुत अलग अलग एनजीओ है जो आपको स्पोर्ट्स के लिए हेल्प करते हैं या एजुकेशन के लिए। जैसे कैबी है वो स्पोर्ट्स के लिए हेल्प करती है, समर्थनम है वो एजुकेशन के लिए हेल्प करती है। महाराष्ट्र में अगर देखेंगे तो महाराष्ट्र में बहुत सारे ब्लाइंड स्कूल है या अलग अलग एनजीओ है।
Yes.
सीएबीएम है, जैसे महाराष्ट्र में सीएबीएम स्पोर्ट्स के लिए हेल्प करता है।
Yes. What is your Women's Day message? So today is the International Women's Day. So what message you would like to give to the women across India?
जो वुमेन्स अपने अपने क्षेत्र में कार्य कर रहे हैं वो उसी क्षेत्र में और आगे बढ़े और अच्छा अचीवमेंट हासिल करे
Yes.
अपने लिए या अपने देश के लिए।
Yes. So strive hard to achieve your goals, irrespective of your whatever the circumstances, and you have to overcome all the difficulties. Okay. Dhanyavad. Thank you very much, Dr.
थैंक
Ganga Kadam. You have spared very valuable time on this day, and thank you very much. Give to gain, as is the International Women's Day theme. So everybody has given something or the other to their families, to their societies, as well as to the nation. Hearty, hearty congratulations, Dr. Ganga Kadam, for your achievements. Keep on doing so and keep our nation's flag high. Thank you very much.
यू मैम।
Thank you, Ms. Ganga Khadam. Your journey reminds us that true strength lies not what we see, but in what we actually believe in doing. And this Women's Day, let us create a world where every woman, regardless of the ability, gets the chance to dream, to play, and to lead. Thank you, both of you.